Hello, boils and ghouls. Welcome to episode 235 of Dads from the Crypt. My name is Jason. I'll be your host this evening. Joining me is Rachel from the Zombie Grrlz.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me back. I'm so excited to talk about this movie tonight. I was like, clear the schedule, Dads from the Crypt, my favorite movie. Let's do this.
Yes, I've been hitting a lot of your favorites. We did Silence of the Lambs a few months ago. Yeah.
Why do you think this is my favorite pod?
Exactly. I'm of the opinion that in another universe, I could just do an alien themed podcast if we didn't have like a bunch of other ones we were already doing.
Please do not threaten me with a good time. I would happily do that. I have so many thoughts and feelings that I'm not even going to be able to squeeze into this episode.
Well, we'll see how many we can get to. Okay. Also joining me, returning, he was on our Predator Badlands review, is my oldest son, JT.
Hello, everyone. Always happy to be on the podcast.
Yes, always happy to have you too. Mondo and Jody are out this week.
Yeah. So I was just gonna say one of the first good movies my dad showed me.
The first of all the bad movies I showed you.
Well, let's not get into that right now.
Okay, your barometer for movies when you were growing up, you told me the bigger the explosion, the better, because you were all about the Transformers Michael Bay movies.
Yes, and who showed me those?
Well, anything to keep a kid occupied.
Oh, hoist it on your own petard.
I know.
Gotcha there.
Didn't need anything, yes.
The amount of times we watched the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man and the first Transformers movie and the first Iron Man movie.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining, but
no regrets.
No regrets. At least you watch movies. My younger kids, like I can't get them to sit down for movies anymore. They just don't have the attention span. It's rough.
Mm-hmm.
They'll come around one day.
Yeah.
We were of a generation where we were raised by the TV. I can't imagine not watching movies.
Oh, yeah. Well, and also movies being on TV, yada yada yada. Well, we'll get into more about that.
Which is exactly where I saw this one for the first time, edited for TV.
On TV. I saw it. Okay. First time we're talking Aliens. It's the 40th anniversary. Is right around the corner. Fright Rags has an amazing collection they're coming out with. Be sure to check out the t-shirts, and I wish I had it up, but I forgot to put it there. They're really cool t-shirt, some really cool stickers, and I think some patches. Really cool stuff. Check out Fright Rags. We love Fright Rags. Yeah. But it's also, again, one of Rachel's favorite movies, probably one of my all-time favorite movies. Like, it's got to be easily top 5. It could be number 1 any day of the week. I know,
totally
just
valid.
In the mood. Perennial top 5, easy.
I'm not sure it's quite there on my personal list, but it is very high up.
Well, you've got time to realize how wrong you were. But before we get into that, I just wanted to do a quick reminder and announcement. I can't remember if I mentioned it last week. For those that don't know, I'm in the process of moving. This is the last time I'll be in this room for the podcast. So my brain is all over the place. I don't even know what day it is half the time.
Yeah.
But Tales from the Crypt is coming to Shudder. They're going to do one season at a time starting May 1st. And on May 1st, we're going to be doing our first ever Dads from the Crypt watch party on our YouTube channel. So at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, wherever else you are in the world, just Google it to figure out. We're going to be watching at least the first 2, maybe the first 3 episodes. Zorn Gavoyich from the Dead Meat YouTube channel is going to be joining us. Maybe some other guests. We'll see. And it's gonna be a rip-roaring good time for like the first time ever that we can all like officially watch Tales from the Crypt together.
Yes.
It's really amazing thing. Did not have that on my bingo card anywhere.
I mean, They had to use that money from Joe Bob's exit for something, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of discourse, and Shudder did raise their price. I got that email too.
Yeah.
I don't know what the politics are behind these things. I don't know. Did Joe Bob say he didn't want to? Did Joe Bob make any comments about whether he wanted to, start?
No, I think
things
he
down?
was
The guy's
really
old.
surprised. I think he was really surprised, and they're like shopping the show. It's gonna find a new home, but yeah, I don't
Or I
think
thought they
he
were
was
going to do
ready.
like quarterly shows. I don't know. I haven't had time to really dive into that discourse, but things happen. At least they're gaining Tales, and I know, yeah, Joe Bob will land somewhere. So, but more Tales, yay!
Yay!
All right. So I think we covered everything. Again, that's May 1st. So check us out on YouTube for that. All right. So again, we're talking 1986 Aliens. 40 years. Jesus.
I know. I feel like I'm going to turn into a pillar of dust before the episode ends.
Oh, so crazy. All right. I'm going to do a plot synopsis for those that need a quick refresher, which if you haven't seen this movie,
Go watch it.
times. Yeah.
And then come back.
Lucky you. You get to watch it for the first time.
All right. Decades after surviving the horrific events aboard the Nostromo, Ellen Ripley is rescued from deep space and returns to a world that no longer believes her story about the deadly alien organism. When contact is lost with a human colony on the distant moon LV-426, the very planet where Ripley first encountered the creature, she's reluctantly persuaded to accompany a squad of colonial Marines to investigate. Upon arrival, the team discovers the colony devastated and eerily abandoned, with signs of violent and overwhelming infestation. As the Marines push deeper into the facility, they encounter the alien species, now revealed to reproduce rapidly and exist in the vast numbers, resulting in a catastrophic ambush that decimates their forces. Amid the chaos, Ripley discovers the lone survivor, a young girl named Newt. Forming a protective bond with her, Ripley joins the remaining Marines in a desperate attempt to escape the planet. As their situation deteriorates, they uncover the presence of a massive alien queen controlling the hive, turning their mission into a fight for survival against the entire species. In a high-stakes final confrontation, Ripley faces off against the queen in a fierce battle to protect Newt and secure their escape, culminating in a tense and explosive showdown that tests her courage and resilience to the limits. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, JT, I'm gonna let you start. I forgot. Have I showed you? Did I show you Alien before Aliens?
Yes.
Okay, so I did it right.
Yeah, did it. Showed me Alien, and then the very next night you showed me Aliens.
Oh, what a great week.
Which, by the way, amazing naming scheme. Just adding an S to the end.
And see if I didn't do the third one. Like Aliens is
Yeah.
Aliens. Aliens. That's what they would have done in like the odds.
Alien cubed.
Oh.
That would have been the way to go.
All right, JD, what do you think of this movie?
I mean, again, I didn't say it was that high up on my list, but it is still one of my favorite movies. Like top 10 at the absolute least. And just has so many good moments. It's such a great way to go after Alien. And out of any line from any movie, I quote, "Nuke it from orbit. It's the only way to be sure." I say more than any other. Anytime I see a spider.
Nice.
So yeah, again,
this movie is extremely quotable. Most of it is Bill Paxton.
Yeah, and I always love it when characters in a movie are smart and they pretty quickly figured out, hey, let's just get out of this whole situation and just completely nuke it. Obviously, he didn't work out, but the thought was there. Nice try.
Now, if they would have been smart, they would have left someone behind on the mothership in case something like this happened. But at least another android or something. But c'est la vie.
Yeah, there's always going to be stuff like that. I mean, and there were some dumb decisions in the movie, like still holding on to ammo and firing around in the nuclear reactor, or just not explaining to the grunts why they couldn't fire live ammo in the first place.
That's all on Gorman.
Yeah.
So, yeah, overall, still an amazing movie. Holds up really well to this day. I've watched it a couple of times. I need to do another rewatch since it's been a while. I kind of want to just do a whole binge of the entire Alien series. I know some of them aren't that great, but I feel like I should still watch them all.
Cool. All right, Rachel. I know you've been holding it in, so let's hear it.
Just barely. Okay. Yeah, so I think there are only a handful of movies that I consider to be perfect films that combine great storytelling, performances, thematic richness, entertainment value, and that kind of ineffable, sense of movie magic and spectacle that really sweeps you away and doesn't just tell you a story, but like actually pulls you into a world that is so well fleshed out that every piece of it feels, despite the like economical storytelling, really does feel like a fully fleshed out world. Sorry, I know I'm lagging. Am I lagging on audio too? Sorry.
No, your audio is fine. So just keep going.
Okay, cool. All right, cool. And to me, both Alien and Aliens is a prime example of that. Everything about this film is iconic, from the set design to the creature design that I would argue has yet to be topped. I love the original Alien design, and Stan Winston coming in and doing the Alien Queen is just like, it remains genius to me. The characters and the dialogue are really all very iconic. To JT's point, it's so endlessly quotable, whether that's Hudson or Hicks or Ripley herself. I mean, honestly, every character gets something. Vasquez definitely is totally quotable. But also the sound effects, even the sound effects have become iconic. We all know the sound of a pulse rifle or a smart gun. We all know the sound of that motion tracker, or like, the hiss of the alien queen, or even just like the sound of typing on those green monitors. Those are all things that you hear them and you immediately associate them with this film.
Or even like Bishop like wiggling in the tube. I love it.
Yeah, it's great. And then of course the characters. Ripley is, to me, unsurpassed, like the greatest character to ever be in cinematic history, of course. But she's not alone. She's surrounded by characters that all, even though we only have some of them for a very short time, have really like left their mark in like the sci-fi horror genre. Like Hudson, Vasquez, Bishop, even Burke are like so loved or reviled and have become archetypes all on their own. And, the movie's just very cool. It's a cool movie, but that alone would not be why I feel like it has stood the test of time. I think this movie has actually aged like a fine wine, which is saying a lot, especially for a movie from the 1980s. And because in part, I think it was way ahead of its time. There's very little, there's one major exception to this, but there's very little that has like aged poorly culturally. Like Vasquez is a problem. The casting of Vasquez is a problem. Like there's no way around it. I'm not going to try to justify those choices in casting. But aside from that, I think it avoids a lot of the casual racism and sexism and just like general chauvinism that was very rampant in the 1980s films, particularly in the sci-fi and like action genres. We see these, like, there are sort of like, there's banter that happens between them that does lean into some of those sexist tropes, but it feels like kind of more relational as opposed to how the world operates. Because systemically, we see this, like on a micro level, there's still some of this, but on a macro level, we see women and people of color working on the front line. We see them as pilots. We see them as doctors. We see them in boardrooms. We see them, in every kind of, in the medical field as a field medic. And it kind of goes unnoticed. So there's something like subtle but radical about the way that, like, it's just like casual gender wise and in terms of racial inclusivity in this world. And that's the kind of stuff that I don't think people really thought about necessarily when it came out, but it has allowed it to become something that continues to have the same sort of it's just so forward thinking. Like, not to say this is like Star Trek by any stretch, but I just think that James Cameron was on ahead of the curve on that front.
Yeah, and even like aesthetically, you could show this to
Mhm.
anyone and they could not guess what year this was made.
Yeah.
No. I mean,
Like
aside from
you
the,
just,
80s lightning, which I love.
well, there's a couple very small things, but even
Yeah.
like Star Trek at some points, like they have like jumpers that are like, okay, that's a little like, late 70s ish.
Mhm.
Like a lot of those movies have like those little things that are just like stylistic for that time.
Yeah.
And this
Like,
movie is it's very futuristic, but in a way that's not attached to any particular time, but there's a lot of callbacks to keep us grounded. That's one of the things that makes this movie feel us as the viewer feel so related and so into this movie. There's so many
Mhm.
things like Burke, he's wearing a plaid shirt.
Yeah.
Like what other sci-fi movie does someone go around, hundreds of years in the future wearing plaid?
Mhm.
But we recognize that as like, oh, we know who this corporate guy is who wears like
Right.
plaid to go on the
Yeah.
safari or something like that.
Right.
It doesn't call attention to itself, but helps us as the audience feel part and relate to this world. One of my all-time favorite shots of any cinema is when they're going to the dessert compound and there's an abandoned like office, and there's a
Yeah.
cup of coffee and a caffeine donut just sitting there.
Uh-huh.
Like when there's like rain coming down, and you're like, oh, that we all know what a donut looks like, that, and just a cup of coffee. Like you can imagine, if you work in an office, you have to leave immediately. That's what it would look like.
Mhm.
And I mean,
Which brings the horror to your present mind.
and I'm just saying, if I was in the movie, I'd eat in the donut. Like I know there's lots of going on, but you can't just leave a donut lying around.
But again, that symbolizes like how urgent
Yeah.
whatever situation they're in. They're
Yeah.
wearing Reeboks. They're the screens that they're looking at through the video are all like low res, pretty much what they had at the time. So again, we as the viewer can relate to that. Where like one of the things I don't like about Ridley Scott's later sequels is that they get like too high tech, and they're supposed to be in the past. So
Yeah.
it doesn't really make sense. And that takes us as the viewer out of it. We're like, we're viewing some futuristic fantasy almost, where keeping these things that are low tech and relatable helps us as the audience feel like we're in the movie. Even like having the yellow and black stripes on things, the caution stripes. You see that everywhere in everyday life.
Mhm.
So it connects us with the futuristic world.
I think that is such a great point. And
Yeah.
it reinforces things like the themes around this being about working class people,
Mhm.
which is something that I feel like is often lost now. I miss the era of the average everyday working class hero that was not, no offense, JT, a superhero or a transformer, but just like someone like a grunt or a
Mhm.
like someone who like Ripley is, she is technically sort of militarized, but she is not someone who has a lot of combat training. She's just a regular person whose heroism comes from like character as opposed to having like some superpower or plot armor. I miss that. And I also love that everyone in this movie looks like a person.
Mhm.
Everybody is not pumped and pickled. They just look like a person. And I miss that on my screen.
Yeah, I just today I saw Project Hail Mary. Have you seen it, Rachel?
No, I'm dying to see it. How was it?
It's very, very good.
That's
Very
what I keep
good.
hearing.
I see it in the theater, so go see it quickly because I don't
Okay.
know if it's gonna be long for long.
Mm.
There's one bit in it that really, I mean, obviously it's sci-fi, so like a lot of these movies are in dialogue with each other. But there's a point where a character is trying to find his bravery and trying to like find, make a tough decision that is very scary to him. And one of the mentors says, just you don't have to be brave for yourself. Find someone to be brave for.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's Ripley. She meeting Newt. And again, it depends on which version of the movie you saw, whether you watched the version where she had a daughter who had passed away while she was in hypersleep, or she just met this abandoned girl and her maternal instinct kicked in. She's finding Newt. Newt is her new anchor to help her find bravery through her trauma.
Yeah. I mean, I love that. I personally don't love the Ripley. I tend not to watch that cut, even though I love the turret scene that is unfortunately not. The Rachel cut would just be the theatrical plus the turret scene. But because in that case, I understand that there is like motherhood is like a major theme in this film. I mean, we end up with two mothers facing off with one another, one in protection mode, one of them in revenge mode. That is certainly a part of this, and we know that now, especially because of that scene that was cut. But I actually prefer it not being part of it because I like to see it through the lens of found family and how we get away from the nuclear family and more into the way that she creates this community with Newt at its center, but surrounded by these other people as well, including Bishop and Hicks. Basically everybody who makes it into the Sulaco, but and lives happily ever after.
Yeah, nothing bad ever happens to them ever again.
The Earth's just fine. No.
JTL, someday I'll show you Alien 3 and ruin all your happiness.
But just it's a what if, like in Marvel terms, consider it a what if. We don't in our house we enjoy Alien 3, but we enjoy it as fanfic.
I'll make sure to keep that in mind.
My thoughts on the extended versus the theatrical. So I think for the first time someone watching this, they should definitely watch the theatrical.
Oh yeah.
Especially because if you don't know anything that's gonna happen in this movie, the fact that they show Hadley's hope before and kind of that they find the alien. I mean, they find the alien, but just to kind of like see that kind of like takes away some of the tension.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I think for a first-time viewer, I would recommend the theatrical. After that, the extended is a little interesting. There's actually some really fun Hudson moments that they cut out. And turret guns are cool. So
turret guns are awesome.
Might as well watch that cut.
Yeah. Well, the first time I saw this, as I was saying, I saw it on television. It was like the edited for TV version. And I think they had to cut a lot of the violent content out. So they put some stuff back in. And the turret scene was in it. So then years later, when I saw it again, there was no turret scene. And I was like, am I a genius? Did I make up a whole turret scene? I should be a writer.
I did the exact same thing. What year do you think you saw for the first time?
Oh, God. I mean, it was on like, when would it have been? Like 92?
Okay. Because I know, okay. 90? So my first time seeing it was, it had to have been, it might have been 90, but I think it was more 89. I remember it was during a snowstorm and I just happened to flip on it on my parents. This is back when, they still sold black and white TVs, or those are just still in circulation. So we had a black and white TV. My parents got a new one that was color. So I got the black and white TV in my room.
Oh, of course.
It's like a big deal to have a TV in your room at the time.
Oh, yeah.
Even if it was black and white. So I remember watching this in black and white. I don't remember if the mother scene, her being, we find out that she had a daughter.
Yeah.
Was in that cup. I do remember the turret scene. Because, when I saw it years later, I was like, did I just make this up?
And it's such a great scene.
Effect?
Yeah. I mean,
I like that scene.
JT, have you seen the turret scene? Do you have any idea what we're talking about?
Nope, I apparently have only seen the theatrical cut. So next time I go through I'll have to find the extended.
Yeah. I feel like Jason's got a quadrolly kicking around in there with all the extra discs, right?
So for this podcast, I decided that I've seen Aliens enough times, and I keep getting ads for this thing called Aliens Expanded, which is a new documentary that came out I think within the last year. That's 4.5 hours long. So it's like, you know what? I'm gonna support this thing, join the it's a Kickstarter or whatever, but it's an indie thing. And again, I love documentaries about films. Films I've seen many times. I'd almost rather watch the making of than the movie itself if it's a good one. The Alien Quadrilogy, never say that word right.
Quadrology.
Had an excellent set of making ofs with those movies. Anytime the making of is longer than the movie itself, I get excited. So I was like, okay, I'm into this new one, but I'm curious how much more they can really do with it. And it turns out there was a lot, because this one they got much more of the cast. So it's more about the experience of the making. They still have some technical people. The one in the older documentaries has a lot of the more technical people, the model workers, whatnot, and more the executives. This one had a lot more James Cameron and more of the cast. I highly recommend it. So yeah, Aliens Expanded. I watched that, and yeah, I definitely learned things that even I didn't know. So like Jeanette Goldstein, she had never shot a gun before. So they had a really hard time with some of the scenes of her like firing things off. Yeah. If you look, she's always squinting her eyes. I mean, you think it's just because it's really bright, but a lot of it's just because she's like doesn't know how to how to handle. I mean, she's just not used to that. So there's actually one scene that Gail Ann Hurd, the producer, shot. Because it's the one where Vasquez has her boot on the alien in the shaft, and she just puts a gun right to it, a handgun right to it, and just starts shooting in the head. But they couldn't get Jeanette Goldstein to hold the gun right, like for that kind of up close action. So it's actually Gil Ann Hurd wearing Vasquez's costume.
Oh, amazing!
Yeah, it's a lot of little cool bits like that you learn. Rachel, do you have anything else you wanted to throw in before I go?
I mean, I'm assuming we're going to talk like more in depth about some of the themes if you want to, but no, please, what did you think?
You know, when we talk about movies, talk about the scales and stuff, like to me, a 5 has to be like a perfect movie.
Yeah.
And this is like a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I know.
It's throwing
just the curve way off.
Way iconic. And I love Alien. And there's actually sometimes I go through, I kind of like Alien better. I don't know, because yeah, it's more contemplative in many ways. Yeah, no, it's like
don't make me choose between my children.
I know. So, actually, Rachel, did you see Alien before or after Aliens?
I saw Aliens first. Aliens first, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna be brave. I'm gonna watch it because I was like still a kid, and then I was just like, okay, well, this is also amazing.
Yeah, I had the exact same thing where like I saw the posters and I knew it was scary. But this one was like the big action one, so I was like more into it. But again, this movie is so well written, you don't have to watch Alien.
No, you don't.
Do a perfect example. You could go in this completely cold.
I mean, I'd still say you have to watch Alien just because
you have to, because it's an amazing movie, and it
do not deprive yourself. Yeah.
But like, again, if you're going cold, and they do a perfect job of catching you up in a very naturalistic way, it's just so well written. But yeah, this movie, we've already talked about all the amazing things, and I'm just a sucker for the whole Alien universe. I got really into the comics and the books that kind of sprung up around this. The Dark Horse comics in the 90s,
the role-playing game?
Not the role-playing game. I'm a role-player guy. I didn't have people that were geeky enough around me to play those kind of things.
Me neither. I definitely am cool, and everyone around me is cool.
We talked about how well this holds up. I watched this on I got an actual 4K player a couple months ago, and I watched it. And the only thing that does not hold up very well is a lot of the back projection shots. And that's only because they were shot, on film. So you can't really, when you upscale things, at some point it's not going to match up really well.
Yeah.
You see that in a lot of like 80s movies with big matte paintings, like in Ghostbusters, those big wide shots towards the end, like they just look they don't fit as well, because again, they weren't shot for high definition.
Right.
That's not the movie's fault at all. So I don't knock
Does it bother you? Does it?
No, not at all.
Part of the movie's charm.
Yeah,
it's part of the charm. It's just more notice. It's just something that I didn't notice before. But again, the movies weren't made to be watched in this way, with that kind of clarity. So again, I don't fault it with it at all. Actually, I went to a screening for Alien Day, which is actually 4/26, that people don't know. It's a happy early Alien Day to those that celebrate. I went to a screening of Alien, and Carrie Henn was there, and I think it was Jeanette Goldstein was also there.
Cool.
And seeing this movie with an audience was amazing. And I love picking out the people who haven't seen the movie before and kind of watching their reactions at like big moments is always really fun.
Yeah.
And the score for this is iconic. James Horner as best. You hear this score all the time in trailers and everything. But what makes it even better is the quiet moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in the theater, it makes it even more noticeable. So like, you know, when they're running after Newt and suddenly the score cuts out and it's all quiet, you know, or when she goes into the alien, the queen chamber and you just hear the breathing.
Oh my God. The breathing of the alien queen, just like that, that like wet, sort of hissy breathing. It's just so good.
Yeah.
What else?
The sound design of the movie.
Yes. There's interesting thoughts I have watching this about authority and the different types of people in authority. So Gorman, you know, he has authority, or sorry, leadership. He has his leadership comes from his like rank, just happening to be, you know, a sergeant or whatever his rank is, and obviously he's not very good at it. And then we have like the commander of the unit. I'm blanking on his name.
Apone,
thank you. I think he's the more experienced one. So like he has leadership, but from experience. And then Ripley is just by nature. She's the natural leader that steps up when no one else is. So it's a very interesting group dynamic. And you know, the other thing we haven't really talked about is the kind of militarization shown here. Again, this was, you know, in the 80s, which is just, you know, a decade after Vietnam, like, you know, really ended. And there's a lot of like visual motifs. The way their combat uniforms aren't really futuristic, you know.
Right. No.
They're very, you know, American jungle, where the dropship looks like a helicopter, really. And even has like decals that, you know, similar to the ones that they used in World War in Vietnam. And this really talks a lot about military hubris, where they, you know, feel like they have superior firepower against, you know, forces of nature that they don't understand, or they're overestimating, you know, the local population. And they might, you know, massacre them, but you know, the aliens have such massive force and numbers, you know, it makes their technology obsolete.
Yeah. And especially the way they use the area, like the buildings, they know how to sneak through the vents and get through all that.
Yeah. I mean, I think it also ties into the themes around like class and the disposability of those soldiers, the way that, and this continues to hit in 2026, right? Where the Marines are kind of like our working class grunts who are sent by a faceless corporation that, and even though they have all this firepower, they are not remotely prepared for what's coming for them. And the corporation does know, because Ripley has told them, and also some canon has led us to believe they really did know. But the corporation doesn't care. They are disposable in the same way that the crew of the Nostromo were disposable. They're an expendable resource when profit is on the line or power is on the line. And I think that's also one of my favorite themes, the way that this film is like, it definitely puts its politics around that front and center. And I think you're right. Some of this is, even though it's like we're deep in the 80s, like Reagan's America, whatever, there is still kind of this distaste for war because of Vietnam that comes through in this. And that feels one of those things that feels like it's aging really well today.
But it's kind of like one of those you want to have your cake and eat it too, because then we do get Ripley, you know, Ramboing up, and you know, I mean, like you're just shooting the shit out of those eggs at the end.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, and that's Cameron, you know, knowing entertainment, and you know, the escalation in this movie, you know, in the movie, and as far as like comparing it to the original, and just like, you know, the false endings, and then, you know, you think it's over, and then no, the queen's in the dropship. It's just so well done. It's the perfect way to do a sequel. It's funny because it mirrors the original in many ways, like even blowing up the alien with it through the airlock. You know, pretty much the same ending as the alien, but
if it ain't broke.
Exactly. So you can tell. And also, this is I think this is the only movie that James Cameron has directed that wasn't his original idea. He wrote this, but you know, he's doing a sequel. So, you know, I think
but didn't James Cameron direct Titanic?
Yeah.
That wasn't very original of him.
Well,
You're like, come
yeah,
up with your own ending, God.
but yeah, I know. You need a mech loader to help out Jack. But my point being, it really shows how much admiration Cameron has for the original, that he
Mhm.
even wanted to jump on this, and you could see how much love he has in the way that he's still reverent for the original. And yeah, so Rachel, I want to know more your thoughts on comparing this to the original. I think it's interesting how the alien itself kind of evolves, because in the original, the alien is much more alien, for lack of a better term,
Yeah.
where it's just kind of like, I know there's scenes where it's just kind of like walking weird, and just it's more what's the word I'm looking for, like unknowable,
Mhm. Mhm.
more what's the term, like,
Alien.
yeah, it's more cosmic, it's almost more cosmic horror.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Where this one, they make the aliens much more like insects,
Yeah,
which
because we've got a
makes sense.
hive, yeah, as opposed to like this individual perfect organism that's
Mhm.
creeping around in the corners. I mean, I think that the monster adapts in lots of different ways, right?
Yeah.
Throughout the films, as JT will come to know someday, there's a lot of lore into how the xenomorph's morphology adapts depending on the situation it's in. Um, but I think it also absolutely adapts and is fluid in terms of the way it's used thematically. And so here it's just telling a very different story. The first one is much more about like the horror and colonization of the body, and this
Mhm.
one is about like corporate greed, militarization, trauma. It's
Yeah.
just a very different story, and I think it's very interesting how you can take this, like you said, cosmic horror, this unknowable creature, and it changes the monster depending on your lens. I think it works. It works as a device, but the alien itself is not as scary in this,
It's more
because of a
vicious.
result of that,
Yeah.
but it's still amazing.
Well,
Yeah, I
yeah,
think
I
it's
mean,
more.
and that's the difference between the first second one. Is like when the alien attacks in the first one, it like creeps up on you. It's just kind of like it's more in, intentional. Where these are
Mhm.
just like beasts. They're just gonna run up to you and fuck your shit up, or just grab
Yeah.
you and go get you, a face
Mhm.
hugged.
Yeah, yeah. A lot less face hug. Well, I mean, there's really more face huggers in this, and yet it feels like the face hugger is much less present in this one than in the first one. I think because so much of what the first one is talking about involves what happens with that face hugger. Like that
Mhm.
is kind of the thematic nucleus of the film is
Right.
what's happening in those scenes with Kane. Um, as opposed to here the queen is what we're really getting at.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
Um,
this movie. It like makes me go right up my own
Well,
academic ass. I can't help it. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, it's like it's a thinking man's roller coaster ride,
It
because it's like
yeah.
is.
endlessly entertaining, but it's so thematically dense while it's doing it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
TT, were you gonna say something?
I was just gonna mention back to the face huggers, that one scene where corporate guy lets the face huggers
Oh.
into the room with Ripley and Newt.
Never trust
That scene
anybody.
terrified me while it was happening. And just
Yeah,
falls back to the theme of how disposable everyone is for corporate profit. They're literally trying to kill a child to get a sample of the
Oh,
xenomorph.
it's worse. Cover your ears, JT. They're trying to impregnate a child.
Yeah, which
yeah,
would then lead to her death. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
but I mean, they're
little on the
basically
nose.
using them as human
It's, yeah.
incubators after
Oh,
like non-consensually impregnating them with like an alien baby. It is so sick. Burke is the worst. But he's such a great villain because it's all of the evils of Weyland Yutani we are
mhm.
introduced in the first film, but this time it puts on this friendly corporate face that it like seduces you into thinking maybe he is a good guy. He's a mensch, right?
Yeah,
Only to find out that he is he is our Weyland Yutani on camera, right? Because we don't have like an Ash, we don't even have Mother, right? So he represents just how entrenched and greedy and like sociopathic that corporation is, and by proxy, like what the world we're in, how it operates, and all of that sort of like corporate stuff definitely gets fleshed out in subsequent properties, but it's all right here in this movie and embodied in the character of Burke, which I think is so great. And Paul Reiser's perfectly cast for it.
Yeah, because he was known for his comedy. So like
Right.
you think at the most this guy's gonna be incompetent,
Right?
just become like an idiot.
So much
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah,
So much worse. Oh,
And I
he's-
love
the banality of evil.
yes, correct. Yes, yes.
And I love Ripley's line saying that maybe the xenomorphs are better. You don't see them screwing each other over for a percentage.
See what I mean? This movie is iconic.
Yeah.
Every bit of dialogue.
Well, and every character gets their own arch, really.
Mhm.
Like even Gorman, who like we really don't like, or we're like really suspicious of. Turns out he fucks the whole thing up. But even he
Yeah.
has like a little bit of a redemption at the end.
Yeah, I mean, he's someone who like there's definitely some commentary there again about class, right? Like these other people are all, you get the sense, very working class, and he is an officer. He comes from like a different trajectory of getting to where he is, and so when he gets there, he is ill prepared for the situation that he's in. And watching at this time, I was kind of for whatever reason, I was like kind of focused on Gorman in this one, and normally I'm like busy Ripleying it up, but I love that there's all these little moments that kind of clue you into the dynamics of that group around Gorman. Like when they're doing the debrief, the only people that they really get sassy with are Ripley, because she's just like a nobody they don't know, and Gorman. Like they're respectful for the most part of Apone. They kind of tease each other, but there is like that tension there. And then there's like little moments of him accidentally knocking things over when they're trying to be stealthy. He's clearly in over his head and has like failed or like been elevated to this position as not necessarily through experience or even merit, but because of some like subtle difference in class. And I do love, though, in the end, he does get his hero's moment when he stays behind and sacrifices himself with Vasquez, and she gets such a great line, which I love, Jason. Yeah. You always were an asshole. So yeah, you're right. Like even though we get like 3 minutes with Apone, I feel like I love him and know him and think he's great.
I highly recommend any of the like longer Alien making of, because it really goes into a lot of like how they cast these people, because the guy who plays Apone, he actually was in Vietnam. He actually was a real sergeant, so he kind of did the training of a lot of the actors. So again, that's why he's just so goddamn good in that role. Yeah, there's a lot. I'm not going to get into every bit of it, but there's a lot of interesting making out. This is a very interesting movie, especially when you had James Cameron, who barely had Terminator come out, wasn't even on VHS at the time in England, and after taking over the great Ridley Scott, in the British mind, there was a lot of animosity from the the production team, like the workers and everything. So. Again, to wrap things up, this is as perfect of a movie as I think you can get. Action movie, probably the best. I mean, it's so imitated. There's a great bit in the documentary. They show like all these examples of movies that are imitating aliens, and it's just really set the mold. Like you said, it was way ahead of its time. Probably James Cameron's best movie, I would say.
Yeah.
And I mean, from a guy who's made many great movies. That's kind of my last comments. But Rachel, any other topics you want to hit on?
I feel like we mostly covered all the themes I wanted to get to, and I just like co-sign everything you said. That it is, in my opinion, a perfect movie. It is a perfect sci-fi film. It's a perfect action film. It's a perfect like horror. I will die on the hill that this is horror sci-fi, but there are other movies that are better examples of horror.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's going to be a little more horror, there's going to be a little more action, but
yeah, but no, this is a special one.
All right, let's do our episode rating. We do 0 to 5, 5 being the best, 0 being the worst. You can do half points. JT, or start us off.
I mean, it'd be a crime to give this movie anything other than a 5. So
Yeah. True. Rachel, what
Come on
do
now.
you give this movie?
What if I was like 4?
Yeah.
No, this is a 5 plus.
Yeah. I mean, this is like, this breaks the scale. Like, this,
Yeah.
you can't even
It's kind
put
of
this on
hard
the
to give
scale.
it a 5, having given other things 5s. I'm like,
Yeah.
I mean, if this movie doesn't get a 5, then what does?
right.
Right. All right. Let's take a quick break and do a shout out.
Hey, I'm Steve Kostansky, writer-director of Psycho Gorman and Deathstalker, and you're listening to those hunky boys over at Dads from the Crypt.
Yay, I love Steven.
So that's teeing you up, Rachel.
Oh, yes, I did last week sit down with him with for what was supposed to be a 20-minute conversation and turned into a 45-minute conversation. Canadians are so nice. No, he was incredibly generous with his time. I had so much fun chatting with him. Deathstalker has finally made it to Shudder, so I was able to get a couple of, I was able to like sit down with him and talk to him. We talked about Deathstalker, we talked about AI and how it's impacting the work that he does. We talked about his, thoughts about sequels and what like corner of the VHS rental store he wants to tackle next. We talked about hunky boys. We talked about all kinds of things. It was a really, really great conversation. And it was like, I knew I loved his work, but now having spoken with him and found out what a lovely person he is, I'm like ready to take a bullet for him. He's great. I cannot wait to see whatever the hell madness he's going to do next.
Yeah,
and you can watch the full thing on YouTube on the not more deadly on the Bloody Good Horror YouTube. I should plug that.
Yeah, he's such a great guy, and again, you did a great interview. So congratulations, that was a really fun listen.
It's so fun. I knew you had spoken to him, but it was funny because I was like, I wanted to try and ask questions that hadn't been asked a million times. So I was like reading other interviews, and I like put in like Stephen Kostansky interview. And I saw 2 Reddit threads where it was like, I'm interviewing him. What should I ask? And I click on it. I was like, I know that person. That's Jason.
Yeah.
So now I know your Reddit.
The Dads from the Crypt Reddit. Yes.
Yeah, that's right. I cracked the code.
I like to crowdsource things and get like the audience involved. So
for sure. I mean, look, I was texting you, wasn't I?
Yeah. Well, I already asked all the questions I got, so I was like, well, if you want new ones, I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, Rachel, give us a song of the day.
Yeah, so I was kind of struggling to come up with something. I was like trying to be cool and pick like a heavy metal song and like keep Mondo's spirit alive, and I failed. So instead I decided to focus on one of the themes, one that we talked about, specifically about like the disposability of the way we treat our soldiers. And so I'm going with a classic. I'm gonna go with Creedence Clearwater Revival's Fortunate Son.
Love it. For a moment, I thought you could go like a curveball, like Metallica, Disposable Heroes.
That would have been good too. I did have And Justice for All on like the short list, but
you're gonna go with Killing in the Name of. Or do you...
Well, I did actually also have them. I'm gonna send you my Spotify that I put together. I was like, go with this. You're naming all the bands that are on there.
You're fuck the man Spotify.
Well.
This is all your music, I'm assuming. It was just funny because Mondo's favorite movie is Big Lebowski, and there's a famous line about how much Big Lebowski hates Creedence Clearwater.
Oh no! So not only did I,
I think it's backwards.
On his legacy,
So you know what? It's backwards. He hates the Eagles and likes.
Okay, I mean fair. That's I mean. Yeah, Creedence Clearwater is like one of those comfort bands where maybe they're not cool, but if you put it on, everybody's gonna vibe. You put on them, you put on a little Journey, like nobody's gonna be like, damn, give me the Spotify, but they will vibe when it's playing.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Rachel. All right, since Jory's not here for horror news, and for our kind of advice section, I want to talk about sequels. I won't say they're better than the original, I mean, that's kind of the debate is like, if you're gonna have to put on one movie, are you gonna do Alien or Aliens? And you know, what other? I want to talk about what other franchises, other movies where a sequel might be better than the original or like exceeds in different ways. I have a couple ones. And this one is a little apropos. Rachel is The Bride of Frankenstein.
That's fair. Yeah, that's a great one. Yeah,
I
James
mean,
Whale.
Frankenstein is iconic and groundbreaking, but as far as pure entertainment, I think Bride is better. It's just more fun. It's a little more put together. The language of cinema is evolving so quickly.
Yeah.
You can tell there's a big leap between the first and the second one.
I mean, I just enjoy it more.
Yeah.
I never go back and watch Frankenstein, but I will happily go back and watch Bride.
Yeah. My other two more really geeky ones. Dark Knight. I love Batman Begins, but Dark Knight is just geek. And again, Star Trek Wrath of Khan. The first one is such a mess. And Wrath of Khan is so damn good that it just blows it out of the water. JT, I think you had a couple.
Yes, Terminator 2. I mean, again,
I agree on this one actually.
But Terminator 2, I love it so much.
You've seen the first one, right?
Yes, you showed me the first one, and I appreciate you keeping the twist a secret because that really worked on me with Terminator 2. I've heard that when it came out, so many people were spoiled by the trailer.
Yeah,
which is why I do my best not to watch trailers now. But
I am kind of the opinion that Terminator 2 is a really fun movie, but it almost gets a little too fun, a little too cute. I kind of like the first one as more of a horror movie. It's kind of the one I go to more often.
Really?
And again, that's just my personal preference, but like, I don't know, the whole Arnold Schwarzenegger and the little boy story, it just gets a little mushy. And a little over the top, but you know, it's a really, really fun movie. And again, those effects are really damn good.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I love just kind of the 80s noir of the original.
Yeah. And another one I had, I'm not sure this one necessarily exceeds. I definitely think it's on the same level. Back to the Future 2.
Yeah, tell me why. I want to know more about this.
Yeah, I need to hear about this because Back to the Future 1's one of the short lists of perfect movies.
It's difficult for me to really articulate why I like movies, but I would definitely say just the way Back to the Future 2 and Back to the Future 3 lead into each other definitely had a way better setup than Back to the Future 1 than Back to the Future 2. So if you look at 2 and 3 as part of the same movie, then that I would definitely say together puts it right at Back to the Future 1.
I mean, Back to the Future is really interesting, innovative out of the ways of being a sequel and recontextualizing the first one and kind of weaving in and out of it. The way they kind of go back to, 1984 is really interesting. But the first one was just pure joy.
Yeah. And I mean, I have my issues with basically any story involving time travel. I could go on and on about the logical inconsistencies with Back to the Future, but I still think all 3 movies are so enjoyable I can look past it. So, yeah.
All right. Rachel, what you got?
Well, I'll pick one that I associate actually with you, Jason. Smile 2, better than Smile 1.
Yes. Oh, I sign off on that 100%.
Yeah, that was the one where I was like scared in a hotel room talking to you, and I was like, "Don't hang up. I'm actually scared."
Right, because we both saw like sneak previews, so we didn't know, we weren't like prepared for how hard that movie goes.
Yeah, and it goes so hard in the best way. I actually genuinely love that movie. It was one of my favorite movies from that year. And then I would say Evil Dead 2. Evil Dead 2 is better. I love Evil Dead 1. It's tight. The race is tight. If we were gonna say 3 movies, I would say my favorite is actually Army of Darkness, though.
Yeah, me too.
Yes.
And I really love Halloween 3 Season of the Witch.
Really?
Yeah. And yeah. Psycho 3 I like a lot. I don't know that it's better than the original Psycho, obviously, but I'm just trying to think of 3s that I really love. But yeah, I think those are off the top of my head what I can come up with. I'm sure I'm gonna hang up and be like, oh, so
Yeah,
obvious.
good call on that one. Yeah, all three. The two cycles. I haven't seen the fourth one. I think that one's like a prequel or something.
Yeah.
But both cycle sequels are actually really good. I'm a huge
Really
cycle.
good.
That's one of my all-time favorite movies.
You
But
and
the
Ariel.
two sequels are really good. Another one I was thinking of is Hellraiser 2. It's actually really good.
Oh, it's great. It's I
Yeah.
can't say it's better because Frank's
Yeah,
like his transformation to me is like one of my all-time favorite scenes in a movie. But I
But
love
Julia?
Julia. Yes. I
Oh
love
my god.
her.
Yeah.
She's
We need
so-
to talk Caitlin from Plug It Up to have us on to talk about Hellraiser 2.
Yeah, in a heartbeat, in an absolute heartbeat.
Yeah, that's a really good one. I kind of like the third one just for like how bonkers it kind of goes in the Hellraiser
Yeah.
series. That club scene is just really, really fun.
Can we count like prequels? Because I would say like Ouija Origin of Evil is way better than Ouija.
It's Mike Flanagan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're making me want to go back and watch Hellraiser 2 because now I'm just like flashing to the like mattress scene and
cockroaches.
yeah. It's so sick. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it's interesting because a lot of times a sequel is just kind of like, okay, kind of repeating the same thing, but like a sequel gives a lot of opportunity to perfect the first one. Didn't quite match meet expectations or kind of take things in interesting directions. So like that, I don't hate on sequels offhand as long as they're trying to do something interesting.
What is your, speaking of sequels, the news this week that there's going to be a Longlegs film?
It has to be, obviously it has to be a prequel, I'm assuming.
I don't know. You don't know what
Or
Satan's
who
up
knows?
to.
Maybe the devil brings them. I don't know. Most people didn't love Longlegs.
Okay. Are you curious though to see what Oz Perkins has up his sleeve?
It's just Oz Perkins rubs me the wrong way sometimes.
Really?
He's just trying to be a little too obtuse with his movies.
I don't know. I like it.
It's just a little. Again, I can see why other people like him, but they all just seem more flash and then substance a lot of times for me.
Interesting.
Oh, and did you guys hear that they're doing a sequel to Spaceballs?
Yes.
Let's go.
I love Spaceballs.
Yes. I hope that they develop it at ludicrous speed. Let's go.
I'm worried on it a bit. Just I don't know.
I think they're self-aware enough that they're going to be able to do it really well.
It's been long enough, so there's a lot to mind, but like
the question is, will Rick Moranis come out of retirement? Because because there can't be I need him to be in it. Period.
No, they've been filming it. I think it's at least the middle production is not almost wrapped.
Yeah, is Bill Pullman back too?
Yeah, I think most of the main cast.
Daphne Zuniga. R.I.P. Joan Rivers. R.I.P. John Candy.
I know.
They got to do this because
I know.
Who knows how long Mr. Brooks is going to be with us?
That's very true. All right. Well, Rachel, thank you for coming on. Is there anything you want to plug? Any great projects you have coming out?
Well, thank you. First of all, thank you for having me back. I love hanging out with you. I'm so excited I got to meet you tonight, JT. I love talking anything alien with you. This is like the second or third thing we've talked about. And anytime you want to geek out about Alien, you know my number. So thank you for the invite. As for plugs, you can always find me every week on More Deadly. Recently we did an episode where we interviewed Grace Glowacki on her new film Dead Lover. We talked about her movie. I think it's now done with its theatrical run, but she did a Stink-O-Vision run where you could someone sent me one of the cards, so I have one that I'm going to frame and put up on my wall next to my Vasquez. So we did that interview. It was great. She was great. The movie is so weird and highly recommend it. Don't watch it with your dad. It might be weird. Just that's my pro tip. And then we also this week I got tricked into covering Wuthering Heights because I was told it was a gothic horror film, but I gave my friend a lot of shit because he tricked me into watching it. But that was a lot of fun. We had a good conversation about it. And then you can. So yes.
Okay, so I've heard a lot of people did not like it.
So it is elevated smut, and I am a human being who appreciates the more erotic side of life. So I enjoyed that element of it. It's very weird having this conversation with your son here. So other than that, we also thank you, Jamie. No, you're fine. And then of course, you can find me every week on Bloody Good Horror. This week we reviewed The Bride, flashback.
Which we also
Jason.
already reviewed on Monday.
Yes. And this week I think they're doing The Mummy, and I'm not going to be there. I'm so bummed, but I'm still going to try to see it this weekend.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, JT. I know, obviously, but you don't have your own podcast yet. Maybe one day I bring you to the dark side. I have a assignment for you. I think it's streaming on Amazon. Is a movie called Cold Storage.
Oh.
I think you'd really like it. Rachel, were you on that episode?
Yes, I was.
Yeah.
Yes, I was. It's very fun.
It's very fun.
Or anything. I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
Try and go in blind.
Yeah. Definitely go in blind. Yeah, it's real fun.
There's explosions. You'll like it.
All right. Well, that wraps up everything. We appreciate everyone for listening. We'd really appreciate if you'd give us a rating or review on iTunes, a rating on Spotify, like and subscribe on YouTube, and follow us at Dads from the Crypt Talk on TikTok. With that, I thank you for listening to Dads from the Crypt.
Follow Dads from the Crypt on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, or I will follow you to the grave. No, seriously, you really should watch. But be careful what you ask for. You may get it.